This weekend, we are doing our first ever free Smart Funny and Black in the Crib show. Free. So, we will be actually doing Smart Funny and Black live, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and it will be on our Smart Funny and Black YouTube. And I am so... Jaleel! Y'all, I met Jaleel White this week, and he is delightful. He is delightful. And it is always nice when you meet people that have been in your life for a long time that you didn't really know. I'm talking about like TV or music or sports people, and then they're not a dick. Isn't that great? Sometimes they are because they're having a bad day. Sometimes they are because they're having a bad life. But in this case, that was not the case. Jaleel was motherfucking delightful. And I gotta tell you, Jaleel, I'm just so pleased to meet you. And I'm hoping that eventually we will have Jaleel on Smart Funny and Black. And I am so excited to announce that on Saturday we'll be doing Smart Funny and Black for free. It's our first time that we're ever able to do this. And I really just wanted this show to finally be able to be offered to everybody to see. So please mark your calendars. Put an alert so that you can log on to Smart Funny and Black's Smart Funny and Black's YouTube on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And our Black spirits will be Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange. So you know it's going to be a performance, honey. It's going to be hilarious, all of the things. And so I really feel like, you know, when people talk about Smart Funny and Black and they've been to the live shows, they understand that like it's a thing. So we are very honored to be able to do this because a year ago we started doing Smart Funny and Black virtually because of this fucking panini, this goddamn pandemic that we in. And so it really was like, shit, we really want to do this for folks, but we also need to be able to pay each other. And I really am hoping to create a scenario where we have so many eyeballs on this show that we can keep doing it live and be able to get sponsorships. So I need y'all to tell a friend, okay? And I need y'all to actually like be locked in. And if you don't know who either of those Black folks are, that's fine because you coming for me, okay? You're going to come watch Smart Funny and Black in the Crib for me, all right? Also, I'll talk about this later. But on another note, you know, it's just been an interesting week. You know, a lot of people had to learn a lot. We've had to just, you know, kind of get ourselves acquainted with a lot of things this week. And I just wanted to come on here and just tell y'all how much I appreciate how much you bring to my space when you all share information with me that I don't know, when you all lift me up, when you all co-sign, and when you all basically just kind of affirm, you know, that you understand where I'm coming from. Because I really be coming from the best of places, for real. And I really just am always trying to just think of how to undo the fucked up learning that so many of us have had to be party to by simply just being citizens of this country. And in doing that, you know, and I know we're on an app. And so some people are always like kind of pressing me for more and more and more. But the truth is like, this shit is free, y'all. You know, so I kind of just do my best to share, but I can't like do it all. Is basically my point. So thank you to those who understand that and who support me in that. And damn, I did not want to make this today. So we not going to make this today. And so anywho, that's that. So yeah, I just want to jump in and stop by. Have you all watched any Black content that you're feeling? Someone just asked me if I've read Tamika's book. I barely have read scripts. I don't ever get a chance to read. And I read slow as shit. And that was a realization I had to come to for myself. Like, nigga, you really read slow. Yeah, I read slow. So I can't just read a book in a weekend. Like when I was in graduate school, what I would do is I would just read 3 chapters and just know the shit out of them chapters. And then I would master the what's it called? The table of contents. Because, you know, table of contents really gives you the overview of what the book is going to be. And so if you can look at the table of contents and you can actually be able to identify like, okay, they're talking about these topics. I'm going to read these chapters and they're going to help me connect these things together. And then you go to class and you're just real quiet for like the first 20 minutes of class. Because you know, the niggas that can read fast, they're going to be talking all the first 20 minutes of class. Well, you know, when I was reading chapter 3, blah, blah, blah. You let them talk. Let them talk. Receive that. Let them talk. And while they're talking, it helps to inform, you know, some critical thinking and analysis on your part on what you have read. And then you're able to pipe in. See? That's how that works. And I graduated with all A's. So you don't got to stress yourself if you are not the best or the fastest reader. Just remember that, you know, I shared that with y'all. That's some game for y'all. Okay? That's some game. Okay? If you're just joining us, I dropped in so I could tell everybody that we're doing Smart, Funny, and Black in the Crib for free this Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, over there on Smart, Funny, and Black's YouTube. So I'm so excited to be able to share this show with everybody. I know some people didn't get to see the show before because they had to pay and they didn't have the money to pay. Well, now you don't need money. You just need eyeballs and ears. And that's it. Because even if you can't see it, you can hear it. And if you can't hear it, you can watch it. And I'm just like, really just psyched. We're celebrating our 1-year anniversary of our virtual show. And we're doing it with y'all. So, okay. So y'all said that you've watched some different stuff. Someone said they watched In Our Mother's Gardens on Netflix. I gotta watch that. Hold on. Let me write this down. Because smart, funny, and Black show this Saturday, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern at youtube.com/Smart, Funny, and Black. And then I gotta pin it. Okay. Black Lightning, that damn Michael Che. So I need to watch, I guess, Underground Railroad. I've been kind of not watching it because I just kind of was like, do I want to watch that narrative right now? And, you know, because sometimes you're just like, do I want to watch slavery? And I got to check it out. So y'all watched them. Y'all watched the Upshaws. Y'all watched Run the World. Black Lady Sketch Show. Someone just asked, girl, are you with child? First of all, that would be a rude ass fucking question to ask anybody, let alone a stranger. What else? Okay, so someone said, no, I do not want to watch. Someone said, no, I do not want to watch Underground Railroad. Got it. Okay. I be getting a lot of cues from y'all, okay? Because y'all, you know, y'all are watching shit and y'all could tell me what's going on. Remove pistachio from garnish, heat everything. Okay. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to make myself some food. So have you guys been finding yourselves like more informed about like what's going on in Palestine and Israel, or does it still feel like it's something kind of too outside of your scope? Because I get it, you know what I'm saying? But I've been trying to share information to help kind of, you know, educate, and not to educate myself as well, because I'm still learning too. Someone said, when you come into Africa. Someone said, explain Palestine and Israel to me. Someone said it came out. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, listen, I feel like some people are like, listen, I can't understand our other people's problems until I understand our problems. And I completely understand that. I think sometimes it's also helpful to kind of identify what's going on somewhere else when it mirrors what's going on within your scope, because then that can help provide like a perspective to solutions, etc., that are happening in your own scenario. So I think there's that, right? Like we can't always just think that we are the only ones going through shit, because we're not. But again, when it can be helpful to solutions for your own thing, like that's real. Stop. That's real. And so like that's kind of where the seat of my learning has landed. Like how do I find greater understanding in this to find greater understanding in us? Because it ends up being a mirror. It's all the same shit. It's really all the same shit. And I'm still in process of learning, so I'm not at a point where I would feel comfortable like sitting up here and trying to educate folks on what the ins and outs of it all are. But at the end of the day, like I think if you literally just committed yourself to like an hour of just reading and looking through just kind of sources, and I provided some on my Instagram, and people like Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill is a great source because he's an expert. If you just committed yourself to like even an hour, it just kind of gives you a little bit more understanding. And again, it's like when you can kind of get out of the scope, because the other thing too is that as Black folks here, we have an emotional attachment to our oppression and the things that were going on. So, it's really like, can sometimes feel cloudy in how we identify and understand like our solutions and possible ways of addressing things, etc. Right? So when you can look at someone else's scenario and you're not emotionally attached to that, you have a certain level of objectivity. And that objectivity gives you the opportunity to kind of find like new entry points to solutions and to understanding, etc. And so I think that's something that I think, it can be considered. But ultimately, like, I had people in here just like, you're not talking about this and you're wrong. And I'm just like, motherfucker, you know how much shit I got going on every day in my life? Like, every day. We all got shit going on every day. We're also still in a pandemic. I had a customer service situation happen the other motherfucking day where I had to cancel an order, and the person hit me back and was like, you're canceling the order? I emailed you 3 times and now you're canceling? Why are you canceling? And I was like, the fuck? Because I want to goddamn cancel. I don't got to explain to you why I want to cancel. And like, they didn't even do the order. Like, it was just crazy. By the way, I had somebody today. I had a Latinx man of some origin stop me today when I was trying to drop something off at the fulfillment place for Illustrious League. Stop me and say, do you work here? In that tone. So I'm in my car, getting out my car, and I see him and he's looking at me. Do you work here? I say, excuse me? He said, you can't park here unless you work here. So already he came with the fire. And I looked at him and I was like, yes. And he's like, where do you work? I said, I don't need to volunteer that information to you. He's like, yes, you do. I was like, why are you acting like a white woman, Karen? This man was giving me full Karen. Carlito had turned into Karen. Y'all, I was not having it. And he was like, well, I can just tell you. I said, go the fuck on. Tell me then. Tell me. And I proceeded to do what I was doing, which was taking my things inside to where I was going. And then I came back out and he was still looking around. And then I got in my vehicle and then I was reversing and he was still like trying to wave me down and I bounced. Take a look. And really was on some just like, he was just like, you can't park places you don't work. And by the way, y'all, there was like 6 open parking spots. But it was like, it is 4:40 on a Tuesday. Like, why are you even concerning yourself with this? And I looked fly. That was the other thing too. It's like, I don't even look like a problem. I'm getting out my vehicle. I'm going where I'm going. I'm not loitering. I'm not like, and it's still pandemia out here. So it's like, it's not even like shit is open. But it was just fascinating. But you know what? Let me tell you what was happening. He was talking to a woman. So he thought he was going to like high post. That's what he thought. Let me show her how big my balls are by trying to address this light-skinned black woman who's getting out of her car. And I specifically say light-skinned black woman because, you know, oftentimes that can afford you privilege. In this case, it did not. He didn't care what kind of skin black woman I was. He was going to try and check me. And I got out the car and went about my business, and he really thought he was going to pull his balls out and show Shorty that like he was about something, and he left with his balls in his mouth. Eat it up. Dip them in salsa, motherfucker. Just But it's just like, why do people feel the need? I don't understand. And like, why did you think that you were going to like impress anybody? Ugh, trash. Those are those kind of moments where like the comedian in me wants to turn back around and be like, so nigga, tell me what's up. I want to know what the real problem, because I just know it's going to be good material. You know, I just know it's going to be good material. I did stand up for the first time in over a year last week, and I gotta tell you, it was interesting. I will say that the audience didn't like anybody, so I felt somewhat vindicated. But like, they definitely, like, the thing that they thought was like the funniest was me impersonating the voice of a woman who did the presentation at the observatory. Like, that's what they thought was the funniest. I did my whole Caitlyn Jenner set. I knew it was going to be shaky when I got on stage, and I was like, damn, this is most white people I've seen in a long time in one place. And they were like, I was like, oh, it's going to be that kind of night. It's going to be that kind of night. Someone said it's probably the man's job. No, it was not the man's job to police the fucking parking lot. He actually is an artist and he owns a store. It's not his fucking job. His job is to make t-shirts with his designs on them and sell them. It wasn't his job. He didn't have a jacket on that said parking. He didn't have a jacket on that was red. It wasn't his job. Okay? It wasn't his job. And even if it was his job, addressing me with, do you work here? Ain't the fucking way to address me. Not as a professional. You could very easily say, excuse me, ma'am. Do you have a business in this building? Yes, I do. End of conversation. End of conversation. Because once they come with the follow-up question, what business? Fuck you. I don't owe you none of that. I don't even owe police none of that. I don't know why people be expecting people to force identify themselves. None of that. We're not in an apartment building. We're not at a residence. Shit. Someone in here is saying foundational Black Americans deserve reparations. Absolutely. I've gotten people who say that I have said otherwise. And I'm like, when did I say otherwise? I genuinely, though, would get a kick out of doing a show where the people that have talked immense shit and trash about me completely erroneously, where they get to interview me. I would love to do it. Like, I would love to do it. If there's anybody on here right now that's like, I fuck with Amanda, I will bring you on live, and I would love to hear what your issue is. Because it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating. At this point in my healing, I find it fascinating. Because I'm just like, where is it coming from? And let me tell y'all something. So when I was in college, my sophomore year, I went, so when I got to my suite the first day, all of our names were on the door and my name had been ripped off and thrown to the side. And I was just like, oh, okay, so it's going to be that kind of year. Cool. So I was like, I know this is going to be a doozy, but it's fine. So I handled it for the first couple weeks. And then I was like, you know what? I would love to have like a Friday night shot round with everybody where you guys tell me why you don't like me. Because it had just reached a point, it was just silly. It was just like, I just don't understand, what the actual impetus and the root of the dislike is. So we sat around, and here's what the reasons were. You're too much. That was one. I just feel like you extra. That was two. It's not even that I don't like you. It's just like they don't like you. And so I kind of was just going along with them. That was three. Four was, I don't have a problem with you. I just wanted to have some tequila. That was five. Six was, I just feel like you're a show off. That was six. Seven was, I don't know. It just feels like you always got something to say. So basically, all these heifers was really just mad that I was confident in myself. That was it. That was it. So to anybody on here who is dealing with some situation like that in your school setting or in your work setting, that's all. They just fucking mad because their version of showing off was literally just me, like, someone was like, I heard you were a gymnast. Can you flip? And I was like, yes. And then they were like, do it. And then I did it. Now you're a show off. Man, it's just, I just think back to stuff like that. I went to SUNY Purchase. I think back to stuff like that because I just feel like it took so long to come a long way. Adulting, growing up, healing, all of this is a timely process, okay? It is a time, and it is difficult, and it can just be very like disenchanting and sobering. And so, I think back to that time, and I'm just like, and then I went through like the same kind of thing in Hollywood. So it's fascinating, but I still bring back that I would get on live with somebody who got a problem. I'm so curious. Because what it really is, 9 times out of 10, people just want to be seen. They just want to be seen. That's really what it be so often. Somebody just want to be seen. And instead of leaning towards positive, they go towards negative. And that's 9 times out of 10. That's just a reflection of something that took place in their childhood or the way they were raised up, or some bad advice that somebody gave you. Someone said, what happened to me on the reel? That's like a year old, yo. You late. That's literally like a year ago. That's a year ago. Damn. That's a year ago. Someone said, what am I pulling on? I'm pulling on Jordy's leash because Jordy doesn't get to be just in the house all willy-nilly, okay? He's still learning how to be a pupper. He's still learning how to have some damn grace and respect for this home. And so he has to be on a leash in the house or in a small room with me because this nigga will tear this mother up and turn this mother out. Okay? Questions. I forgot about questions. People ask questions. Is your book on audio? Yes, my book Small Doses is on Audible. Yes, it is. So check that out. What else? Okay, some crazy person left 11 messages that make no fucking sense. Sada Baby 95, like Detroit Sada Baby? No, that's random. That wouldn't be, Sada Baby wouldn't actually be, this must be somebody who's a Sada Baby fan. Yes, I do read my Audible. I read the book myself. And let me just tell ya, in reading my book myself, I was reading it and I was reading what I was saying to y'all, but it was like, so I was saying it back to myself, and in reading it, I was like, oh, I gotta break up with my nigga. Because I realized that what I was saying meant like, Amanda, you can't carry on with who you with. You telling these people this shit, you gotta tell that shit to yourself. Yeah, it was real. It was real. Someone called me a Van Jones hater. They're not wrong. Okay, the food is cooking. What makes you who you are? Where I'm from, where I've been, my values, my dreams, and my soul, like my relationship with my soul. Yes. That is what makes me who I am. Someone said, how did you meet your man? I met my man freshman year of college. I met my man freshman year of college. My roommate came back to the room and was like, there's a fine nigga on the basketball team. He eats dinner we had like different cafeterias, and one of them was called North. And she was like, he eats dinner at North at around 6:30. I see him every day before class, before my night class. And I was like, got it. So I went and sought him out. And he was in line, and he was standing next to my homeboy Mike. And I was like, what's that? But he was shy. So Mike was like, what's up? And then somehow it was organized. Like they lived on a different campus. Y'all laughing. They lived on a different campus. And so it was organized that I would come by that weekend to hang out with him at the other campus. So I went to the other campus to hang out with him, and he's like shy until he warms up. So he was shy, and like I just distinctly remember him showing me his Griffies. I distinctly remember him being like, these are my Griffies. And it's like, I just think back and it's like, a nigga was absolutely showing me his sneakers, like as a way to like break the ice. And I just sitting on the bed like, okay, go. I don't know what we talked about. But we just like hung out. And then we went to eat at the cafeteria. And he said that what happened at the cafeteria is what made him be like, oh, okay, I like her. Because we were eating and I like have food in my teeth, which anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that I stay having food in my teeth. And he was like, oh, like you got something in your, I had like food on my face. And he was like, oh, you got something on your face. I was like, oh, do I? And I like smeared the food all over my face. And he was like, oh, she's silly. Okay. And so that was like the beginning of our courtship. And then he rode with me on like the shuttle back to the main campus. And he said that when he dropped me off and got back on the shuttle to go back to his, okay, so anybody who is sitting here talking about my weight is gonna get blocked. So you're blocked. And then anyone who's asking dumbass questions like, are you expecting? You will also get blocked. So, anywho. So then the person who was driving the shuttle apparently told him like, don't treat her like your wife until she is. And he was like, the fuck? And so we talked for about a week, like we would be on the phone after class or whatever for like a week. And then I remember being like, so are we a couple or what? Are we a couple or what? What's that? Are we a couple or what? And this was, someone asked what year this was. This was the year 2000. This was the year 2000. And he replied and said, yes, we are a couple. He was like, yeah, we're a couple. And then we were together for like a year and a half, and then he transferred and he went to Fisk University. And then over the next 20 years, we were friends, and he lived his life, and I lived his life. I lived my life, and then we reconnected, and voila. And that is that. So, that is how I met my man. And someone asked, how do we come back together? One night I texted him and asked him for his Instagram. I hadn't talked to him in 5 years. And by the next morning, we were back together. So, there we go. Why do you support Kamala and Joe and they are opposed to reparations for foundational Black Americans? First of all, I don't support Kamala and Joe. What I supported very clearly without any uncertainty was getting Donald Trump out of office, who is also against reparations for foundational Black Americans. Now, Kamala and Joe are not against reparations for foundational Black Americans. They are putting together a committee, supposedly, that is going to study the best way to do this. Now, I don't think that's actually all the way wrong. I think there is actually something very valid to there having to be a discussion on how this is best dispersed, right? Like, so do you have to be 100% foundational Black American? Can you have one parent? If you do have just one parent that's foundational Black American, do you get a certain stipend that's different than someone who has both? How is it proven that you are a foundational Black American? All of these things. So when people ask me questions like this, why do you support Kamala and Joe, etc., and then just fill in the blank, it's basically you're just choosing to not understand the very specific context within which I was pushing Kamala and Joe. And that was simply just saying, hey, I support us voting for them for the purpose of getting this man out of office. And then some will say, well, yeah, but they're not much better than him, which is also remains to be seen. But the other thing is that we have to understand that in the steps that need to be taken to change things, we have to make sure that we are moving at the very least, in a direction towards a scenario where we can actually enact change. If we had kept Donald Trump in office, then we would not only have all the fuckery that's happening right now, but we would have someone emboldening it on another level. Okay? And I don't know why people can't see this. I don't know why people try to act like thank you. Someone said it's called strategy. And the thing about it is that, we have to have certain strategies. And then you can rewrite the strategy. You can rework the strategy. You can study the strategy. You can be tacticians about it. You can look at other strategies. We can look at the apartheid movement. We can look at other scenarios and other societies and the ways in which they have toppled things. But at the end of the day, just being like, no, and not having any actual plan of action doesn't make any sense. And then people ask me about voting, and I'm like, one of the ways in which groups in this country end up being able to control power and control the power that's being held over their group is by demonstrating their power. Is by demonstrating their power in the political space. And the way that you demonstrate your power in the political space is that these people's lives are based on them getting elected. So you being able to get them elected is what helps to demonstrate your power. Y'all gonna make me go back to school for political science. Oh, Lando's in the litter box. I was like, what is happening? Okay. How do you continue to persevere? This industry, especially for women, can be quite trying. What advice would you give? Get good sleep. Get good sleep. Surround yourself with people who aren't in this industry. And identify very early on that you are simply not in control of the rejection. And once you free yourself from that expectation, it gets a lot easier to go into these spaces with a freedom that says, I am coming with all I can. And if that's not what you want, then I'm not for you. Let me tell y'all, when I go to auditions and shit to this day, and it's been like this. This isn't just like now. This always been like this. I come to an audition, I give my best, and I leave that audition there. I don't carry that audition home. It's not in the car. I make a mental performance of throwing that script or those sides in the recycling blue trash can on the way out. Because that lets me know that I have distanced myself. I did it. It's done. I'm gone. And, you know, that's imperative to being able to survive, because it's so taxing, as we have learned, a lot of us in this panini. Uncertainty is incredibly exhausting. And if you're in the entertainment industry, you are signing up for a life of uncertainty for quite some time, until you can reach a point where you have a little bit more, just kind of a little bit more ability to determine kind of like where your spaces are and where your future goes. But ultimately, you're still at the behest, you're still at the behest of other parties deciding whether or not they think you are right for what they're doing. It's just what it is. And one of the things I've had to do is kind of just create a balance. So it's like, I do my own thing so that I can still feel like I have a certain semblance of power. But at the same time, I still audition for other things so that, I'm still in the world and I'm of the community and I'm of this Hollywood governing body. So one of those ways that I've done that is with Smart, Funny, and Black. So shout out to everybody who's joining us. Smart, Funny, and Black is performing live. We are doing a live production of Smart, Funny, and Black this Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at Smart, Funny, and Black on YouTube. I'm very excited to be able to share this show with y'all. For those of you who have never seen the show, this is your opportunity to see the dopeness. We've got Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange. And if you don't know who they are, it doesn't matter, because you know who I am. And Smart, Funny, and Black is just like a really good motherfucking time. And I think we all deserve a really good motherfucking time. So make sure you mark your calendar. 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, this Saturday, the 22nd. And tell a friend and tell them to tell a friend, because we want to show that people want this type of show. So we need numbers. We need eyeballs. We need y'all in that chat. Chat. You feel me? So make sure that you guys are there. And yes, you can get SFP merchandise right now. You can go to sfpbookstore.com and get you some Smart, Funny, and Black merchandise right now. Right now. Yes, right now. So, let's keep going. Someone had another question? Some of these questions I just can't answer because I'll get in trouble. Yee. I'm trying to get a question, but some of these aren't really questions. Would I ever consider running for office? No. The work of a public servant is incredibly difficult, and I don't know that I would be able to be that willing with my time and energy and space. I also am a Cancer, and I just feel like my moodiness is not conducive to that type of work. So I'm going to sit that one out. I'm going to sit it out. But never say never, but sitting here right now, no. What I want to do is I really just want to bring comedy back, man. Like in a real way. That's what I really want to do. And I'm not going to do anything else until I really do that. Like television, like comedy on television. Like I feel like, we don't get to see that like we used to. There really aren't comedies like that. The comedy is living online, really. But ultimately, I still love the television format, and I still want to see, shows and stories that are funny. And I want to be a part of that. So that's where my energy is going to go. I have a 5:30 a.m. call time. Jesus Christmas. So that's that. So, anything else that we should discuss before I go? So these pins, we just got them in. So for all my folks that don't know, I have a line called Illustrious League. It's a clothing line. And our first drop is about saving yourself. And it really is dedicated to just the idea that, you know, you can't wait for nobody to come and save you. You got to save yourself. And there's a multitude of ways that you can save yourself. And, you know, I've really been enjoying seeing people share with us the many ways that they save themselves, whether it's something as, you know, basic as doing meditation or something like, you know, just making sure that they eat better. Some people save themselves by playing Candy Crush. You know, there's so many ways. But I'm so excited because we just got these pins and they're going for sale tonight. They're going to be put on our site tonight. And I just love them. They're like hella detailed. Can you see? The camera is kind of blurry. But I really love them. I designed them. And, you know, they really round off our first drop. And I'm so excited about it. So please, if you were trying to figure out what you wanted to get from Illustrious League, now you got it. So go to illustriousleague.com and get that. And of course, we've got restock because there's a lot of people that were like, well, you got Illustrious League, but you don't got plus sizes. So we were able to add 2X to our sizes so that we can help, you know, expand our sizing to be more inclusive. So I'm really proud of us for doing that. And we also added t-shirts and we also added dad caps. So, you know, I'm really proud of this restock and what we were able to do, and, you know, just kind of continuing to diversify and bring different vibes. And then after this drop, we're going to go on a break. So if you were thinking about getting Illustrious League stuff, you got 3 weeks to get it. And then I'm closing shop until the next drop. So that's just a word to the wise. Okay? A word to the wise. So let's see if we got one more question. I'm looking through questions, y'all. Do 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 do. Oh, well, someone just asked what the future of Illustrious League clothing line is, so I just said that. Would I do a show like The Real again? Never. Nope. Someone literally just asked today if I would do a panel show, and I said, absolutely not. Nope. I'm a panel by myself. I don't need to do a panel show. I don't want to do a panel show. It's time for me to have my own show. These white people don't have their own shows for so long, whether it's, or not even just these white people, but these men, you know, fucking Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and David Letterman and John Oliver and The Daily Show. Like, all these people don't have these shows. Bill Maher, Larry Sanders, like, you know, and I'm just like, I want my own show. Like, shout out to Z-Way, shout out to Sam J. You know, they did it. They got it. They got their own show. And I am next. I'm speaking it and putting it into the universe. So, with that being said, I am going to watch this Sunday's episode of Z-Way. And I have to get up really early to shoot Insecure. So, you guys have a wonderful, blessed evening. Remember, you can check me out on Saturday, Smart, Funny, and Black, free live show going down 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at Smart, Funny, and Black's YouTube. Just go over to youtube.com/Smart, Funny, and Black. Tell a friend, spread the word. I'm going to put a post up on my Instagram, share it. Let's get let's get these eyeballs on the show, because again, and I cannot stress this enough, you guys are so much more in control of what gets made than you think. And when people show up and show out and say, this is the type of content we want, that is what speaks the loudest to these folks who are in these who are in these ivory towers and who have the bankrolls to make shit really go down.